Happy Friday, everybody.
Whoop, whoop.
We've made it.
We did. We made it through the week, and it's going to be a nice weekend that feels like fall.
I know. Thanks for Mr. Sprinkle.
Oh, yeah, anytime.
Listen, this morning we've got a big question for a Friday, and that is, do you believe there is life on other planets?
Ooh.
There's a reason we're asking this.
Yes. So this morning during the show, we were breaking down this report from NASA. And then basically they're just talking about what we know right now about UFOs. So the study is about a year in the making. And it focuses on how scientists can change the way we try to understand these things. Now, folks behind the study are saying that they really want to shift this conversation from sensationalism to science. So taking a look at what they're actually saying. The study said that there is plenty of evidence of UFOs, but there doesn't necessarily mean that there are aliens. So check this out.
The NASA independent study team did not find any evidence that UAP have an extraterrestrial origin. But we don't know what these UAP are.
Now, they did say in order to be conclusive about where the UFOs are coming from, they're going to have to change the way that they study. So that means using new techniques, advanced satellites, getting a better idea of what they're actually seeing in the sky. Folks also say behind the study that they're actually going to be using AI and some machine learning, and those are going to be essential if they're going to get more details and more information. So again, this morning we're asking folks, do you think there's life on other planets? Intelligent life, I would clarify. I think we've already seen, scientists have already said, like there's, amoebas and other kinds of microorganisms.
That's not what we're talking about.
That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about E.T.
Yeah, E.T., right?
I am an alien, I'm here.
I was waiting for it.
So why have we, because I know we've talked about this before, they've sort of shifted from UFO to this UAP? Or
unidentified aerial phenomenon.
Okay.
UAP, yeah.
I think it's to do what they were talking about when it comes to sensationalism
I was going to sneeze.
Yeah.
Larry was giving me a funny look, and my face, I thought I was going to sneeze.
I think that you would start crying? Or
no, I was about to sneeze, but then it went away. I don't know. Okay, I'm sorry, Kia. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. I really think that's it. I think they're trying to shift away from UFO to UAP, and it sounds like it might be more inclusive, right? Because unidentified flying object, if it's not flying, then it kind of makes it more inclusive that way.
Well, unidentified aerial, that's still in flight.
Oh, okay,
So that's
gotcha.
But it's a phenomenon rather than an object.
I thought it was
They want to get away from the the UFO. That that's the typical of, going back to the 50s when the little Martians were landing and things like that.
Think has his sounds. I have my sounds.
I never hear your sounds.
Some of you chiming in this morning. There's definitely life on other planets. That's a definitive answer. I think it's a little arrogant to believe that the vastness of the universe and where
that one.
I do like to approach these big questions with humility like that. Saying we really don't know. We believe that there is life out there in our universe. There's a novel there that I can't read all of.
I was trying to.
And Joy also chiming in the comments below. She does not think
Yeah.
there are aliens out there.
I guess all the comments we got this morning via text message, they do think there is, right? But Joy,
valid.
not so much.
I think we were talking behind the scenes, Larry, when it comes to like these military operations that obviously we shouldn't be privy to.
I think that's been going on many, many years, all the way back in the 40s. There's all this controversy what happened in New Mexico.
Yeah, Roswell.
In the late 40s. Roswell, what happened there. I think, without a doubt, you go Area 51, that's a whole, think about that. Our government has sent up all types of aircraft that they've never identified because it's top secret. So a lot of that is probably governmental. Now NASA wants to get involved. So at least our government is saying, yes, there could be.
You brought up a point during the show in the commercial break, Sarah, but it was just like a month or so ago that those folks testified. Those folks who testified on Capitol Hill, and they were talking about how they had found like biologic and things.
Yeah,
this made it sound much more definitive than what these folks are saying.
Who are these?
The House Oversight Committee held a hearing on UFOs. And were heard testifying or heard mystifying testimony about unexplained object sightings and government possession of, this is what we had said in the news class, non-human biological matter that people were trying to decipher.
Right. What does this mean?
What does that mean?
And are these just rogue people from within NASA? 3
former military officials told Congress Wednesday that they believe the government knows much more about UFOs than it's telling the public.
Probably so.
Yeah,
I think there's a certain fright factor to this that if the government's admitted it, then people go, oh, they really are.
Yeah.
Are they going to invade us? Are they going to attack us? It's to keep people at ease about it. But I think, let's, transparency, and maybe NASA will do that.
Right. Yeah. Well, we'll see. I do think that some things should stay under wraps. I mean, I know as far as trust goes, you got to be transparent and open and honest. But I do think that when it comes to like certain government operations, especially military operations, those are things that you got to be real sensitive about how you release that information.
There are a lot of secret operations going on in government. I mean, just, think the CIA, for example, is what they do. And other intelligence agencies.
John Kelly says the surest sign of intelligent life is they would not visit here. And then Camden saying a few years ago, news anchors would rather die than openly discuss things like that. Camden, I would say, when the head of NASA speaks about it, I think it's worth us speaking about as well.
Yeah. So going back to this NBC News article, which is what I'm reading this from. They said they had the 3 military men who testified on Congress said he had interviewed individuals who had recovered non-human biologics from the crashed UAPs. And then he said he prefers to use the term non-human rather than alien or extraterrestrial.
So, these are military members who have said they've seen things, but the chief of NASA saying
not necessarily. They're not saying, they're playing real political with it. They're not saying yes, they're not saying
I just want to make sure we're cleared up for folks at home because it can be a bit confusing.
Some of our astronauts have actually made statements about seeing possible UFOs in some of their journeys to the moon. Yeah.
Again, just an unidentified flying object.
Yeah.
They weren't sure what it was, but little weird voices. Hi, how are you?
Exactly. Is that ET phone home?
That's right.
We always joke with that kind of thing, but there may actually be. We'll find out. We'll know for sure someday.
Let us know what you think. In the meantime, have a great weekend, and we'll see you back here on Monday.